Hi, my name is Rylan, and today I'm going to be guiding you through how we can use some digital literacy tools like Canva or Blookit to support our students' learning, but not just that, to transform the way we teach. We're going to take a look at the SAMR model and how that can help us analyze quality tools. I do want to add a disclaimer at the beginning here that some of the planning and research of this topic has been done with the help of Gen AI, such as ChatGPT. What is the SAMR model? The SAMR model was created by Dr. Ruben Puentedura as a way to make informed decisions about technology. SAMR stands for substitution, augmentation, modification, and redefinition. It helps us think not just about what tools we're using, but how we're using them. This model is split into two parts. The first is enhancements. This is where we find substitution, which is where we use a digital tool to replace a traditional tool, but there's no real change in our task. It's exactly the same function, it's just online. In enhancements, we also have augmentation. Augmentation is where we can add a functional improvement to a task, for example, a spell checker, or sharing an essay for real-time feedback as they're working, where it improves the task, but it doesn't fundamentally change it. We then move to the bottom of the pyramid, where we see our transformational phase. This is where we see modification, where you would redesign the tasks, and this could be collaborating across classrooms, co-writing shared documents that have multimedia embedded into the actual task itself. Then finally, we have redefinition. Redefinition is where this digital technology enables us to create entirely new tasks that weren't possible before. This could be any number of things, from creating a podcast to a magazine for the school that they post online. According to Rommel, Kidder and Wood in 2014, learning through mobile digital platforms, which is what they were looking at, was most impactful when it was at the modification and redefinition levels of the SAMR model. This enabled learning experiences that went beyond just their classroom and hooked them into the world as a whole. For an example, they found that at the substitution level, some schools would remove a paper quiz for a mobile-friendly version, and that had decent results, but it didn't really change much. But at the redefinition level, they were able to use mobile apps that had GPS or augmented reality features to guide students through a real-world location and do an augmented reality scavenger hunt that hooked into the curriculum itself. They found this was able to move beyond just the surface level, and it wasn't just about using tech as an easy move on task. It was a fundamental improvement that helped with the learning. Canva for Education is a really powerful tool tailored specifically for teachers and students. It's completely free for K-12 education and offers a huge amount of templates, tools, and collaborative features that you can use. There's everything from docs to photo editing to posting a website. At the basic level, Canva can substitute for regular paper-based projects. Students can use it to create digital posters or presentations, but it really begins to shine as we move to the transformation stage of SAMR. Canva features a huge library with over 60,000 education templates, covering everything from lesson plans and worksheets to infographics and certificates. Students can collaborate in real time, much like in Google Docs, making it a great tool for group projects. What sets Canva apart, though, is its ability to integrate those tools with platforms like Classroom while also being a, able to integrate more multimedia elements. This means that even if you're using Google Classroom or Canvas, you can still share feedback and collect assignments really simply. It also has advanced tools where you can embed videos, audio, hyperlinks to create rich multimedia content in any of their areas, whether that's docs or PowerPoints or one of their other features, which can help some of your learners that need some differentiation. When we look at Canva at the redefinition level, it's where it becomes really cool. Because from within Canva, students can design, publish, and manage a magazine or a portfolio that is shared with a wider audience. This can help develop creativity, visual communication skills, digital citizenship, and critical thinking skills. And it means that Canva for Education can be more than just a design tool. It can be a space for students to express their ideas, collaborate meaningfully, and demonstrate their learning in dynamic ways. This links in with the digital literacy curriculum, with one of the four areas being creating and exchanging information, and Canva makes this really easy for us to do as teachers. Blooket is a game-based program that can be used to gamify learning in a really fun way. It can be used live in the classroom as a tool that can be substituted for a regular quiz that you can use to actively find curriculum links as you're going as a teacher, which can be really useful and time saving. It can be also used in assigning homework. If it's used for homework, it can be done individually and the results will come back to you, but it means the students get to do their homework in a bit more of a fun way. Blooket is a platform that is really good at developing inquiry-based learning if used intentionally, and it helps support decision-making, helps students collaborate with each other, manage online interactions, and critically evaluate their information. All of these are essential in the Australian curriculum. This also works in with the findings of Smidley and others, who highlight that digital tools can work really well at enhancing learner agency, engagement, and connection to real-world contexts, but you do have to be careful, especially with gamification, because some students won't be as in tune with it, and so this cannot be the only form of learning. Blooket can be really good at the modification level, as students can create their own Blooket sets and reflect on important concepts and then share them with each other. And at the redefinition level, Blooket can work because it has cross-classroom competitions and adaptive practice through differentiation in some of their game modes, which can mean you're able to, on the go, help students where they're at instead of giving students things that are too hard. This is really cool, and it helps students to develop their skills, lining back to the Australian curriculum, especially in managing and operating digital systems, because it can be used asynchronously or live, and they can then go and make them themselves. Let's compare Canva and Blooket. They both align really well with both our SAMR model and the Aussie curriculum, and Canva allows for substitution on the lower end through digital posters, but shines when we get to be able to collaborate on multimedia projects and potentially share them globally. Blooket can replace quizzes, but transforms learning by giving students the ability to create those quizzes, to collaborate on them, and to change the way they learn, gamify it a bit. Both of these tools operate effectively when we get into the transformation area of SAMR, but they don't only live there. They can be used for the simple just substitutions or augmentations. Looking back to what Rommel, Kidder, and Wood said when looking at mobile learning contexts, they defined digital learning as learning that is personalized, situated, and connected through devices. And when we apply this to classroom tools like Canva and Blookup, we can see these tech features not as functional upgrades, but as enablers of more flexible, responsive, and authentic learning. It links in really well with our Australian curriculum. Canva supports students really well in creating and exchanging ideas digitally and responsibly where you have the control. Blookup supports students in managing and operating digital environments because they have to interact with each other and they engage strategically. These elements align with broader teaching frameworks such as TPAC, where thoughtful tech use supports content and pedagogy, and practices like explicit instruction, where technology reinforces concept understanding through visibility and repetition. When we do this with the SAMR model in mind, we move our focus from novelty of technology to a quality of learning. And purposeful integration, which is what SAMR is about, isn't about ticking a tech box. It's about levering these tools that we have seen today to empower students as active participants in their learning journeys.